A memorable game is clearly something that has qualities that stick with people that play them for many years to come, sometimes for the rest of their lives. It takes an uncommon experience for this lasting effect to take place. It's scarce, strange, different. You could even say that it's rare. Rare built a reputation for these kind of games a long time ago. Rare, in terms of the company, was founded by two brothers, arcade developers Chris and Tim Stamper, under the name Ultimate Play the Game in 1982. Under this name, the company was successful in its own right, winning Golden Joystick Awards for Best Software House in both 1983 and 84. Games from this era are also present in Rare Replay. Ultimate Play the Game and the Stamper Brothers couldn't quite block out all the haters though, as they received criticism for switching signature gameplay styles for the sake of maintaining consistent visuals. They also developed a ton of games very quickly, which led to speculation of overworking their employees. This led to a buyout of the company by US Gold, who continued to produce content under the Ultimate label. During this time, a little logo you might recognize began being credited in games produced by Ultimate. A logo for Rare Limited. Rare Limited started as a branch company, also created by the Stampers, to produce titles for Ultimate Play the Game. In 1988, while still under US Gold ownership, sales faltered for Ultimate Play the Game titles, enough for the newly formed Rare Limited to buy back a portion of the company it sold to US Gold in 1985. This meant that Rare was now independently owned and free to develop for whoever they wanted. At this point, the Stampers garnered interest in Nintendo's upcoming console, the NES.
Will you be the one to witness the birth of the incredible Nintendo Entertainment System? The one to play with Rob, the extraordinary video robot, batteries not included.
After poking around with its hardware, Nintendo took interest in the developers and granted them a, quote, unlimited budget as they bought a 48% stake in the company, effectively making them a second-party developer with a ton of resources. This began a golden age of Rare, under the, quote, Rareware era. Cranking out generation-defining games such as Donkey Kong Country, GoldenEye 007, Killer Instinct, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Battletoads, and many more. In 2002, to the surprise of Chris and Tim, Rare was sold to Microsoft for a whopping $334 million, which was a record buyout at the time. After the Microsoft deal, Rare finished up existing series in the works for Nintendo, most notably the Donkey Kong Country series, before they moved on to what many consider to be a down period for the company. After a reboot of Conker in 2005, which was about 20 years since the company's start, it's as if a corporation that built a reputation around gritty experiences powered by huge hardware had no idea what to do with this newly acquired developer that did its best work on lighthearted projects. Who would have guessed? Right, Phil? Am I right, Phil? Phil, am I right? So, what did Microsoft have at this time that was both new and family-friendly? Well, how could we forget the very future of gaming, destined to take the world by storm, and definitely not make you flail your arms around like you just set your house on fire. The one, the only, the Xbox Kinect. Well, and a life sim tie-in about piñatas. Point being that for the next several years, Rare pumped out Kinect sports titles that didn't pan out how Xbox had hoped. Which, when you think of it that way, Microsoft's $334 million buyout makes next to no sense if they didn't have a clear vision for the company or they weren't willing to give them complete creative freedom. Not everything produced in the post-Microsoft acquisition has been awful though. 2005's Perfect Dark Zero and Cameo Elements of Power have achieved cult status, and 2013's Killer Instinct reboot has done well for itself. Fast forward to 2018 and the mediocre Sea of Thieves also has a loyal fan base and has been helped by its inclusion in Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah?
Although production for Rare has definitely slowed, 2019 promises a remake of the Battletoads franchise. So, I'm interested to see what the future holds. Through all this came what many consider to be Rare's crown jewel, Banjo and Kazooie. And with that, I will see you next time when I tackle Mumbo Mountain.